Hello guys, and welcome back to JD's Kitchen. Thank you guys for stopping by. Today I'm so excited to be sharing with you guys this amazingly delicious African fish roll recipe. So I made this recipe a couple of days back for my kids. They enjoyed it, my husband loved it, my kids requested for more, so I had to make it again today. And thankfully, when I was putting together the ingredients, I was writing it down, so I actually came up with this recipe, and I'm so glad I did not just freestyle because it tasted so good, and I can actually now replicate it and bring this recipe to you guys. I promise you, if you try out this recipe, you will definitely come running to leave a comment under this video saying how amazing it turned out. Let's jump right into the ingredients. You will need 5 cups of flour, 3/4 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and half tablespoon of salt. You will need 2 eggs, and you will need 4 tablespoons of melted butter, 1/4 cup of sugar. Now let's jump into the process. I pour in all the flour, leaving just like a 1/4 cup of flour in the pan, just so that I can use it later. So I go in and pour my salt, my baking powder, and my sugar. I pour it into the flour, then I mix all the dry ingredients together. Then I make a hole in the middle of my flour. If you've been watching my baking or frying videos, you notice I always do that. It doesn't really do much. I just do that just to put in the wet ingredients. So I go ahead and put in my melted butter. I put in my eggs into the mix. I advise that you break your egg in another pan so that if you have one bad egg, you don't get a bad egg into your mix. But yeah, so I go ahead now, I mix with my hand. For this water, I'm going to explain that I set aside 1 cup of water, but you realize that when I was listing my ingredients, I said I used 3/4 cups of water. That's because when putting water in your mixture, no matter what a recipe tells you, always be careful. Don't just pour in all the water that the recipe has told you. It doesn't matter what video you watch online, trust me on this. Just you drop in your water like slowly until you have the kind of batter that you want. For this fish roll, you need your dough to not break and to not be sticking. Like when you put your dough on the when you want to use your rolling pin to roll out your fish rolls, your dough is supposed to be stiff. You don't need a very soft dough. Like, so I was just testing to see how my dough feels, and at this point my dough was it was having the right texture. So I went ahead to just cover it with a piece of cloth, and then I went into the okay, this is what was left: the water and the flour. I'm going to use the flour when I'm trying to roll out my fish roll, the dough for my fish roll. Now we jump into making our filling for our fish roll. I'm going to be using this Morocco fish. I salted it and then I steamed it. Okay, so I just salted the fish and then I put it in the pot with a little bit of water, so it cooked for about 10 minutes, and then I took it out. So I'm just deboning my fish. You can go ahead and use sardine fish, that makes it even easy. So I have deboned the fish, and then I'm crushing it with a fork. I'm just pressing and ensuring that it becomes more shredded. Okay, so for my filling, I'm going to be using some onions, some carrots, some chopped green spices, white pepper, 1 seasoning cube, and then I'm also going to be using these are my ingredients I'm showing you guys. I will use Kitchen Glory. This is a fish seasoning, so because I'm making fish roll, I decided to use it. Now in a clean pan, I'm going to put in some butter. This is going to be my oil. You could use any oil of your choice. You could use vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever you prefer. I just prefer to go with butter. So I started by pouring in my carrots into the pan first. I stirred my carrots, and then I went in with my green spices. This process should not take you more than 10 minutes, like maximum 10 minutes, especially if you first of all boiled your fish. And I would always advise you to boil your fish first so that you don't overcook your vegetables. So I added in my onions, I mixed it together. I mixed again. I'll bring in my white pepper, my salt. No, I didn't put salt in this because I'd already salted the fish, so I was very careful with the salt that I used. And yeah, so I just added 1 seasoning cube, and then you guys remember that I have the fish seasoning to use. The what do they call this seasoning? I'm going to show you guys at some point, so I'm going to use it at some point. So I had to add in my fish, add the seasoning, and then I'll taste it. Then I'll know what quantity of that fish seasoning to use. I was very careful with it because I realized that I had already salted the fish, and then I used 1 seasoning cube again. So with this fish seasoning, it has it tastes a bit salty, so you want to be careful. I should have actually used it without the season, without the Maggi that you saw me adding, but because I'd already done that, so I had to be careful. So now I tasted it, and then I went in now with my kitchen glory fish seasoning, and I just used a little bit of it. This is really amazing. It gave it a very nice flavor. And after this, I just went ahead to cover it. I turned off my gas and I covered it so that the heat can further cook the carrots a little more. Now I go back to my dough. I use my rolling pin and I spread out my dough. I'm trying to get the sizes of my fish roll to be as even as possible. So I roll out my dough and then I try to just estimate, like if you are a perfectionist, just get a tape and start measuring these things. But yeah, I just freestyle and I cut it, and you can see that the pieces look almost the same. They are not the same, but they look almost the same. So I go ahead and roll out my dough. Now I'm going to do a special video for you guys showing you how to roll your fish roll, ensuring that this filling inside does not come out and just spoil the oil. That's something that as a first time fish roll fryer you might experience. Your fish roll might open when you're frying it, and if you don't seal it properly, you're gonna be sorry. Your oil is going to be full of the filling. You're going to be seeing carrots, green spices, fish inside your oil. You don't want that. So stay tuned for that video where I'm going to slowly show you guys how to close up your fish roll in order that your filling does not spill out in your oil. So yeah, this was such an enjoyable process. I loved it. My family enjoyed this fish roll. You guys, I'm saying it again because they were literally on my case to make more. Like, you know, when your family eats and they're looking at you like they're having this puppy face, like, you didn't make enough, you didn't make enough. They really enjoyed it and I liked it too. So yeah, I'm excited to be sharing it with you guys. Please do try out this recipe. So I'm just going ahead to roll out this looks amazing, you guys. It looks amazing. Yeah, so I have rolled out my fish for you. You can tell I'm excited. I'm excited. Like when I make food and my family loves it and I enjoy it, I'm always happy. So, and I'm happy to bring it to you guys because I know that when you share it with your friends and family, you will enjoy it first, and then whoever you share it with is also going to enjoy it. So please, if you have watched at this point, please do me well to share this video. Just click on the share button, like the video, and then subscribe to this amazing channel for more amazing recipes. Now let me talk about something. When you want to put your fish roll in the oil, you see that little ball that I put inside. That's what I should have been saying when the clip was rolling, but because I like gist. Okay, so when you want to put your fish roll in the oil, you can just take a little ball from your dough and just put it in the oil to test if the oil is hot enough. You don't want your oil to be too hot and the heat too high, because you're just going to have a fish roll that is looking burnt and brown outside but it's not cooked on the inside. So you see that I put in my fish roll when my oil was hot but not too hot. So there you have it, guys. Our fish roll is ready. Please do try out this recipe. Some things you want to take note: do not put a lot of water in your batter. Make sure you seal up your fish roll really well so that you don't have a spilling of your filling in your oil. Don't fry with oil that is too hot. Okay, yeah, those are some things you want to take note of. Don't use too much butter as well. Just follow, in short, to make it easy, just follow this recipe and come back and testify. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.